Hi, and welcome to Pifer's podcast on thevirginianreview.com. I'm Mark Pifer, sports editor of the Virginian Review, and we're sticking with a girls basketball theme. Last week we visited with Covington. This week we're down at Allegheny for the Mountaineers, and my guests are to my far right, coach of the Allegheny Mountaineers, Danny Keene. To my immediate right, senior Rachel Hepler, and to my left is Murray McClung, also a senior. And Coach Keene, let's talk about January. It's been a good January. 3 straight wins, and what I see in your team is right now. I try to prepare for you guys a couple times a year too, and it seems like a different person every night stepping up. Your win over Wilson, I know Elena hit a couple big free throws at the end. She scores 17 points. Then you go down to Stanton River, and Rachel gets 20, and Murray gets 14. And then last night, in a big win at William Byrd, Mari Deeds hits a game-winning shot. So talk about the versatility. I know you only have 8, but each of those 8 capable of stepping up and doing a job for you on a nightly basis.
Well, I think one reason that we only have 8 is because these 8 are very serious about it. And, a lot of the girls don't want to put the time in. And now that basketball and the Virginia High School League has let us go year-round, you're only going to get the diehards. And so that's what I have. I have 8 diehards. And when you're talking about the other kids that you just mentioned, don't forget that Kaylee Insminger last night hit 3 threes in the second half to win that game last night, too. So we do have different girls stepping up. And when you prepare for us and you take something away, then, good teams have something else to offer, and that's what we're doing.
This is Coach Keene's 24th year. Time's flown by, it looks like. Tell me and you hit on one of I think the biggest differences right now in coaching is that it's now not a 4-month job. It's a 12-month job. Talk about that being a difference. What's the differences in basketball over a 24-year period when you started with this job?
Well, when I started with this job, it was 4 days a week and 2 months and a day or two. You went Monday through Thursday. You didn't practice on Friday because you went to Friday night football. Saturday and Sunday was out of the question. So we've gone to 4 days a week to as much as you want to go. And I might want to add that since the Virginia High School League's put a year round and we can practice all we want, the paychecks hadn't gone up any.
You're right about that. You're definitely right about that. And the game itself, 3-point shot has become more prevalent as the basketball has moved on. The 3-point shot is a huge part of the game now. It used to be when it first came in. I can remember saying, "Well, we're not going to do that." That's a gimmick. And now it's a huge part of the game.
Well, that's one reason we've gone to the Syracuse defense is to cut down people shooting 3-pointers. It's become a very important part of the game, and I've told our girls, you live and die by that 3, and you can sometimes have some issues, but if you shoot enough of them and someone gets hot, that's really what happened last night in the Bird game. In the fourth quarter, we're up by 11, and then they got a girl gets away 3 times, and she drains 3 threes, and now they done cut it and took a lead, in the last minute. So it's a very dangerous weapon to have some shooters that shoot the 3.
Right. Let's talk to a couple of the players here. First, we'll go talk to Rachel. Rachel Hepler, a senior, as I mentioned, at Stanton River Friday nights, goes up, puts up 20 points. And Rach, first tell me, we've been friends for a long time. Tell me how you got into basketball. When did you start playing? And then talk about this year's team.
I started playing when I was 3 years old at the Y. And
3?
3 years old. I started teaching myself some dribbling moves and stuff and just got into it and I love it.
Talk about this year's team, and I think something that Coach Keene, in my newspaper story, I think it was the Wilson game. He said that you guys at one point during December were playing miserable, and that was his exact words. We're playing miserable. Last night we got back to having fun, and fun will carry you a long ways when you like what you're doing. And since he told me that, it's 3 wins in a row. Talk about maybe the progression you guys have made starting with that Wilson game and having a little bit of fun.
Well, I think from last year's team we lost a lot of good players, and coming into this year we figured we only have 8. I mean, it's going to be tough, but we've actually stepped up to the plate. And with the Wilson game, we knew that we went over their house, they beat us by a lot, but we went in and we wanted this game really bad, and it's just snowpiled from there, and we wanted all of them.
Murray McClung, another senior, another a big part of the Allegheny team. Murray, tell me when you started playing, and talk about this year's team.
I probably started playing when I was like 10. I was in B League, and then I just kept on from there.
And this year's team, I know at times it's been rocky, but now that the whole team's healthy and you seem to be playing probably y'all's best basketball of the year.
At first, I don't think we had the heart in it, and then finally, like Coach Hobbs and Coach King, they were talking to us, and then we decided to pick up our momentum and like give heart in the game and not just worry about points and who scores the most, just playing as a team.
And Coach, I try to preach it to my kids. You know what? It's high school basketball, and we want to have fun. Have fun if you win, have fun if you lose, and the sun will come up the next day. And that's kind of what we were talking about, last week. Your high school years go by pretty fast, and you want them to enjoy, the process of playing basketball.
Well, and you do, and I think at the end of the day, the one thing that I've learned, putting 2 or 3 kids already through school and a couple more, I think once the game is over, I think the best thing a parent or a coach can do is just put their arm around their kid and just tell them they love them, win or lose. I think to tell someone you love them is probably just as more important than any win you'll ever endure, because we have our moments on this team, but at the end of the day, you don't mess with one without messing with the other. So there is a lot of love, but some days there's a lot of turmoil too. But if you don't have that turmoil, you really don't know what that love's all about. And I think that's one thing that goes a long way with this team. There's a lot of caring about it.
Tomorrow night, you guys have a big one. William Fleming coming in, and when I say a big one, they got a big one. It sounds like they got a 6'3" kid, and Fleming, a really, really good basketball team. They've been in the state Final Four the last couple of years. Talk to me about Fleming and for you guys being able to continue that momentum that you've built over the last week or so.
Well, I think what we're going to do is just attack it the way we attack any other game. They may have the trouble, not us. We're going after them. I mean, we're not going to go out there and practice or put our heads down and not hustle and whatever. We're going to go out there and play what we do, and whatever turns out will turn out. But they're going to have to contend with us.
Right. Murray and Rachel, you can both touch on this. You both came through injuries. I know Murray, I guess it was your freshman year. Mm-hmm. Talk about that injury, and it took one whole season away, one whole basketball season away. Talk about that process. Did it make you appreciate it maybe a little bit more?
Yeah, when it first happened, I couldn't believe it, and I was really upset. And then once I came back, I decided that if I wanted to be good, I'd have to really work for it. And so the whole summer I spent going to the Y and working on myself and my game, and then I ended up playing varsity my next year, and it really made me appreciate it way more.
Rach, you too have been through some injuries, and just in December you had a little bit of a knee injury. Talk about that, and also talk about playing multiple sports. I know you play softball also, and you guys have had great success in that. If this is the age of specialization, they all say, and you got to be specialized. I'm not a big believer in that, especially at small schools like we have. I tell my kids all the time, play what you want to play, and have fun in high school. Talk about playing multiple sports.
To me, you don't really have to specialize in something. I can go out and shoot like 20 baskets and then go take 20 cuts. I mean, if you want to be good at 2 things, you just have to keep working at it. And that's what I believe that I've done. I've tried to work at both of them, and I think I've succeeded in both of them.
And you've been through your share of injuries. Hopefully you're healthy now. Feeling good?
Yeah, I'm feeling good. My knee's better. I did some physical therapy over the break, and I'm feeling good.
Good. Coach Keene, if you just give me a couple words about these two, and 2 of your leaders. And I know with 8 players, you rely on a lot of kids for a lot of minutes. Excuse me, fighting a cold. But talk about Rach and Coach Keene, give me a couple words about each one of these kids. Rachel, I always say Rachel is not afraid of failing. She seems like that kind of player just from the outside looking in. Talk about her and her game.
Well, that is the kind of kid Rachel is. She's really made major strides to get where we are in this basketball program. I know as coach, and you know yourself, you're always looking 4 or 5 years down the road and who's going to take your ream and go. and I wasn't sure it was Rachel, but she's really put the work in, the time in, and she's just been an outstanding hard worker, and I'm just so proud of her. I know it's kind of being part of the community with her dad coaching my daughter, and then I'm coaching her, and knowing the family and everything, and then if her mother's got a problem, she'll call and let me know about it. So I don't know, it's just has really grown up, and I hope to see her in a college uniform someday.
And Murray, she's been like, I talk about kids, somebody scoring 20 and somebody scoring 17. Murray's kind of been your rock this year. She's been a steady double-figure scorer for most of the season.
Well, Murray's she's the sleeper. When people comes to watch us play, and when we had all those college scouts at Wilson Memorial, and then we had a couple in here the other night at a ball game. I'm not sure which one it was. They know about Rachel. But then, and after I put my 2 cents in about Rachel, I always told them, I'm going to tell you what, if I was a college coach, Murray McClung would be somebody I'd want on my team because of the work ethic. I think when Murray McClung goes in the gym, when we get down, people look at her. They don't look at Rachel because they take Rachel for granted, and that's a good thing. But Murray's the one in practice when we start running drills. When she starts going hard, everybody goes hard, and for whatever reason it is, they do it. And I'd like to comment also on Murray's injury. When she broke her ankle her 9th grade year, I'll bet you 99% of the girls would have said that's it. I don't know the statistics on it, but I know the girls that I've had here at Allegheny, they would have been through. And for her to come back her 9th grade year, make the varsity her 10th grade year, and put the numbers that she's putting up now, there's just not anything that you can say but just outstanding about where she's come from a broken ankle to where she is right now.
The Mountaineers 6-6 on the year. They're winners of 3 in a row, red hot. If you're not doing anything, Thursday night, the Mountaineers host William Fleming in a big Blue Ridge District game right here at Mountaineer Gym. Thanks to Danny, thanks to Rachel, and thanks to Murray for taking their time out for this podcast today. Remember thevirginianreview.com. You can look at this. We're on 3 days a week now, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. Pick up a copy of the Virginian Review. All the local sports are covered. Boys, girls, whatever it is, it's covered by the Virginian Review. We'll be back next week with a different podcast. Until next week, I'm Mark Pifer, sports editor of the Virginian Review. Have a good day.